Awesome. Sounds good. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. This is Tobin, the man, the myth, the legend with Goosehead Insurance. Most amazing guy I know. And I'll let you take it away, man. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll get going.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, Joel, thanks for having me. Really excited about this, the Realtor Boot Camp and what you're doing over here. It seems like great stuff. I'm sure a lot of people are going to learn a lot of great things from you because I can say those kind of words back. I mean, Joel's absolutely incredible. You guys see him out there crushing it every day. But yeah, so I'm Tobin. For those of you guys who I haven't met, I work over here at a company called Goosehead Insurance. We're one of the largest brokerages in the country. So basically, I have access to multiple carriers that I'm able to shop around for your clients to make sure that we're always putting them in the best spot when it comes to insurance. And on top of that, I mean, in terms of the home buying process, that's exactly what my business model is catered around, right? So I partner up with loan officers and realtors like all of you who work with clients in the home buying process. One of those most important things that they're going to need is insurance, right? You guys are selling them probably their biggest asset. So want to make sure that it's protected. And that's kind of where I come into play. So first and foremost, I kind of wanted to start on a little bit more of a broad spectrum. So we only got a few faces in here, but one of the things that I've noticed that a lot of the successful realtors that I've worked with is they all have many teams and points of contact in all these different industries surrounding the home buying process. So a lot of that, a main one that might come to mind is like a preferred lender, right? Everybody has a go-to lender or a few that can help out in certain situations for certain clients. Maybe a home warranty contact that can help out with situations like that for your client. And while you're building out this team of, referral partners, you end up becoming really good friends along the way, which is the part that I like about it the most. And you have people that that you can count on and rely on that are going to really shop around with your client's best interest in mind, which is what I know all you guys have, right? Being a realtor, that's super important to everybody. My brother's a realtor, so I get it. I know what that's like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share my screen here. I put a small PowerPoint together. It's nothing crazy, but it'll just help me keep on task because I get distracted easily. So I'm going to see if I can't make this work. And I'm going to shout out to Joel to see, just to make sure. Joel, can you guys see that? Perfect. All right, so let me actually go back to the front page so you guys can start from there. So like I said, I work for Goosehead Insurance. I'm licensed in 4 different states there: North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and Texas. So moving on along, if you look at all of these right here, what do these all have in common? Amina, Jocelyn, any guesses?
They probably have some type of insurance on them.
Probably, yeah. More importantly, they all need insurance, right? These are all different types of homes on the lake, right? Homes with a beautiful front entryway, homes with a nice front porch. It doesn't matter what kind of home, whether it's, a 1,000 square foot home manufactured or, a $5 million mansion on the lake. They're all going to need some type of insurance for closing, right? In order to get through the closing table, it's one of the things that the lender always requires. So for most Americans, their home is their single largest asset, kind of like what, I started on. So what does that mean for you guys as realtors? It means your job is really, really important, right? You guys have all these different moving parts in the home buying process. Can be confusing for your client. They might not know what everything means. And that's where you guys step in, right? You guys are there to coach them and, consult them through the entire process, make them feel super comfortable. I'm sure all of the smoothest closings for you guys have been ones where you've been really in touch with your client, right? You know their needs, you know what they want. It also means that protecting it is really important, right? And that's kind of where I come into play with the insurance. So kind of fall back on this quote, but home is an asset that you can protect against the damages that impact its value. So we should probably do it well, right? If you're dumping $500,000 into a home and then a tornado comes through and takes that home away with it, like in the Wizard of Oz, you want to make sure that it's going to be protected and you're not going to be stuck in a situation that could financially ruin you. And that's kind of where I come into play, right? So again, building out that team of people that you can go to that are going to have your client's best interest at heart. Having a preferred lender and a preferred insurance agent as well really helps streamline that process. So there's a few different types of insurance agents that are out there. There's captive carriers, meaning that they work for one specific company, right? They work for a State Farm, or they work for, Travelers, they work for Nationwide, Progressive. What that also means is they don't really have a whole lot of choices. They have one product that they can sell. And the only way to change that product is to take away coverages, right? It's almost, I like to relate it to golf. It's like playing 18 holes of golf with only a 7-iron. And that's going to be great for maybe 10% of your shots. But what about the other 90? It's going to be real hard to hit a par 5 when you're with a 7-iron, right? Or who knows, maybe it's a short par 3 and that 7-iron is going to sail the green. So you might just not have the right tool for the job. Whereas working with a broker like myself, my bag is full of choices, right? I have every single type of insurance carrier that you could need for any type of situation. I have carriers that specialize in manufactured homes. I have carriers that specialize in insuring homes that are over 100 years old. I have carriers that specialize in new builds, right? So every different type of situation, every different type of home transaction is going to require a different type of insurance. And having all of these options allows me to cater what's going to be best for your client, right? So we have specialty carriers, kind of like I just mentioned, that are going to be the right tool for the job. And then my company is super big on technology. So we're always looking for ways that we can invest in ourselves and invest in technology to make the insurance process easier and simpler on your clients. And all it really takes out of me is relaying that information to them, making sure that they're comfortable with everything, and then getting them one step closer to closing on that home right there. So the right tools, right? These are a very small selection of the 80 plus carriers that I have, right? So you can see we have special flood carriers, Neptune, right? Flood. We've got Chubb, high net worth carrier, right? When you have those clients that are buying very expensive homes, they want to be insured by the right type of a carrier. Foremost, specialize in manufactured homes, American Modern. They work with high-end vehicles and also manufactured homes. ASI Progressive, right? They really specialize. I mean, they're a big one, right? So everybody's heard of Progressive. They're good in a lot of situations, but where I've found to have a lot of success with them is new build. They can get great new build rates. So every situation is going to require a different carrier and different knowledge of that carrier to make sure it's going to be catered to exactly what your client needs. Going back to that point too, right? Kind of goes in line with the choices, right? So captive versus an independent agency. I kind of went over the differences there. So captive agencies are going to be the people that have one carrier, right? Like I mentioned, one option. They represent companies. They don't represent the client, right? They have one company that they represent. Whereas for me, I'm going to work with what's going to be best for the client. And I don't have any brand loyalty to any one carrier. It doesn't matter to me if you're with Travelers or you're with Allstate or you're with Homeowners of America. All of them, and all that I want to do is put you in the best spot, right? Having 80 plus carriers allows me to do that. And you can also see what that does to our client satisfaction, right? 88% client loyalty score. That's more than double the industry standard. Most people don't love insurance. They usually have issues with it, right? But when you can show that level of client satisfaction and that level of an NPS score, it really goes to show what having all these options allows us to do. Now, what's different between Goosehead, myself, and another independent broker, right? There's plenty of brokers out there. So why use Goosehead? First and foremost, like I mentioned, we're the largest broker in the nation, right? So I have a product for every different situation that you guys might run into with your clients and with all the, borrowers and everything else. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. You can keep up with what we're doing every single day, right? You can go look on there. Heck, you can invest in Goosehead if you want. It's all open. It's all public information. You can see exactly how we're doing. We wouldn't have grown from a small mom and pop shop in Westlake, Texas, to the largest broker in the nation, publicly traded on the NASDAQ, if we weren't doing something right. We also have an in-house service team. So every single complaint or every single thing or file or claim or anything that might happen through the insurance, we have a fully licensed in-house service team that's able to help in all situations. And again, kind of referring back to that industry leading NPS at 90%. Most of you guys might not know that. That's higher than Netflix. Who likes insurance companies more than Netflix? Goosehead customers do. It's great. It's seriously great. Heavy investments in technology, like I mentioned, right? We're constantly looking for ways to streamline the process for your clients so they don't have to worry about insurance. We're able to get them through the closing table. And we're the only broker that's designed solely around home buyers. Like I mentioned, my business is fully dedicated and built around the home buying process. A part of that too, this kind of more impacts lenders so much than you guys, but We have a fully dedicated binder team as well. So that's basically the proof of insurance. Let's say you're coming up on closing, that closing date gets pushed back a day. Typically, if you're going through a captive carrier, it could take you 5 days to get a binder back. I have a team that does it in under 1 hour. So you will never have any delays at closing due to insurance. I can promise you that will never be a reason that you guys or your clients aren't able to close on a home, right? I want to get that money in your pocket as quick as we can. We all know, we all love the art of the deal and closing a sale and that transaction and that money hitting your bank account. I'll make sure it's never delayed on my end. So I also just kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an insight as to what my process looks like, right? So kind of what you could expect when you do send a client to me, right? First and foremost, it's going to be getting some basic information, right? First name, last name, date of birth, the new address, right? Is it a new purchase from you guys? Absolutely. We're closing deals, we're selling homes, right? Gotta love it. And then also lead source. I get to put who it was referred by. So when Joel sends me a client, I get to go referred by Joel, keep tracks of you know, everything he sent me, everything that's going on there. It's really cool to kind of look back on it, and I'm able to show my appreciation. I'll be like, wow, you know, I got this many clients from you. Like, that's insane. Thank you so much. Like, let's go to dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatever, you know, got to say thanks, right? Got to show my appreciation to you guys. Once I input all that information, I get a list of rates back. So this is for Texas. So these are obviously on the higher end. I have not sold any policies this high really in North or South Carolina where we're all out. But this is just my Texas rater. But basically, I'm going to get an itemized list of all the different carriers we work with and what the price will be. And then I'll go in there and I'll finalize a quote, right? Finalize a number, make sure, you know, the client's abiding by all underwriting guidelines and everything else. And then I'll have a finalized number from them. And it's really that simple. The technology that we have allows me to do it that quickly. I'm also going to consult the whole portfolio, right? So biggest discount we can give is obviously bundling together home and auto. It's also really beneficial for your clients to have their insurance all in one spot. Reason being, if a tree falls and it lands on the car and the house, it's way easier to only have to call one insurance agent rather than having to call two different companies, wait on hold with two different, you know, carriers, 1-800 numbers when they all have my direct line and their number and their phone saved, right? All my clients have my cell phone number. They're able to text me, call me whenever they need me. This is kind of a look into our client portal. So you can see everything that your client will see once they do sign up with Goosehead, right? So they can look at their account, billing and policy changes, if they want to make adjustments to their coverages, if they want to add people to their policy, right? Maybe you have a boyfriend and girlfriend, next thing you know, they're engaged, getting married, and now they got to all go on everything together, right? Super exciting things. And being that you guys are realtors, you're going to be ingrained in their lives. You know, we want to make sure that because the average turnaround time, I mean, Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, in North Carolina right now, it's about 5 years between home purchases. Is that right? Perfect. So I want to make sure, and the reason that, you know, I've found it so important to build out a team of referral partners and people that, you know, you can connect with and stay within that one home buying process is I want to make sure that your business is sticky. When you sell a client in 5 years, when they're looking to make another purchase, I don't want them to have a shadow of a doubt in their mind what realtor they're going to use. I want them to know that they're going to go back to you every single time because of the people you put them in touch with. They had a great experience with the lender you referred them to. The home warranty guy, incredible. Tobin over at Goosehead saved me money and made everything easy. I'm not going to have to worry 1 second about who my next realtor is going to be because I already got the best realtor in the game, right? And so that's kind of another reason that I found it so important and so essential for you to build out these teams of referral partners that are going to be there in your back pocket that you can go to and really rely on. So this is kind of an input into that client portal, again, of what your clients will be seeing. We also over here at Goosehead, just kind of some added benefits of what we can do for your clients. We have a free concierge service. So we partnered up with a company called Utility Concierge. They essentially do what I do with insurance for your home utilities, right? So they'll shop around your power, your Wi-Fi, water, alarm systems, right? Making sure that you're in the best spot every single time. So not only are they going to now be saving money on their insurance, but they're also saving money on all their utilities and they don't have to worry about it. A lot of my out-of-state clients love this feature, especially when I have clients that are moving from Michigan to North Carolina, halfway across the country. They don't know that Spectrum might be the best, you know, internet provider because it's different everywhere. And so this allows them to get that consultative service, again, walk them through all the steps, and all your client needs to do is pack those boxes and get ready to move in. Goosehead and you. So these are just kind of going to be some more examples of ways that we invest in our technology to help our realtor out. One thing I have access to is flood insurance carriers that are able to run flood zone determinators and clue reports for all of your listings, literally in 20 minutes, if that, right? Just take however long it takes me to type away. So if it's a longer address, it might take me a couple more minutes, but essentially it'll be done very quickly, right? Another thing I like to do is I like to sponsor open houses, sponsor events, right? Bring some food for your clients that are coming to your listings, right? Want to make sure they have a nice spread that they can enjoy and everything looks great at the house. Like I mentioned as well, I'm going to take a look at the full client portfolio, right? Take a look at all options, bundled rates. Sometimes what I like to refer to it as is the Goosehead bundle. Maybe Progressive is the absolute best home option, but Allstate's better on the auto insurance. Well, cool. You can have both when you work with a broker like me. You're not going to be reliant on only Progressive and only Progressive. So that's going to be another awesome option for you. Is you're going to get the absolute best rates all around. Another thing that I do for my clients year over year, when they're coming up for their renewals, as I'm sure all of you guys have probably seen in the past, insurance rates change. And a lot of times they account for inflation and they go up. Well, when you have access to a broker like myself, I'm going to shop your clients around year over year to make sure that they're always in the best spot. So not only are they going to deal with me initially during the home buying process, but I'm going to stay in front of that client, make sure that we're always in communication, keeping them in the best spot with their insurance, which in turn, because they were referred by you, keeps you in their mind when they're ready to buy that new home, right? And then we, again, just kind of to reiterate, we do have a world-class service team, highest NPS rating literally in the country when it comes to insurance, highest retention rate, all of it. They do an absolutely incredible job. So if I'm on vacation, if I'm sick, your clients are ever unable to get a hold of me, they have that opportunity and they don't even have to call and wait on hold. We have a schedule a call feature. So they literally go online, say, hey, I want to call at noon. That's when they'll call you and reach out. So there's no waiting on hold when you're working with Goosehead, which is really, really nice. I know I just kind of breezed through that. There's a lot of information that I threw at you guys, but do you guys have any questions for me about insurance, about building out a team of referral partners, really anything at all? I'm here to help you guys and start getting you guys selling some homes.
I know we talked about this personally before, but maybe just for everyone that's going to be listening to this later on, when is the best time for someone to come to you for insurance? Like, I put an offer on a contract, it gets accepted. Like, what's that timeline?
Yeah, for sure. So I would typically say as soon as they go under contract. So once an offer is submitted, that offer is accepted and you're officially in the 30-day contract period is typically when the majority of my lenders and realtors will refer people to me, just because that gives us time, right? It gives us time to shop around in the event that maybe they're not available, or maybe it's a husband and wife and the wife's on a trip or whatever the case may be. That just gives us the most amount of time to make sure that there are never delays at closing. And a really cool thing about insurance as well is that it's non-contractual. So you can always make adjustments. You can always make changes. So even if that closing ends up getting pushed a day for whatever reason, maybe the inspection goes wrong, you can always still have that homeowner's insurance and not have to worry that you're locked into anything, right? So there's never any reason to not be preemptive on it. There's never a reason to hold off on it because you can always change it at any point in time. So pretty much as soon as that offer gets accepted, the paperwork is starting to roll and that client is under contract is when I would say the best time to relay that information over to me. And typically what I'll have my people do is just copy us on an email. I have a template that a lot of them use where it'll just be like, hey, Tobin, here's my client. They're purchasing a new home. Here's their information. And then from there, I'll just respond to that email, set up a time to talk. And then usually I'm able to knock the insurance out for that client in 1 to 2 phone calls.
Gotcha. That's good.
Super easy process. Again, my goal is, insurance lingo and everything else can be super confusing. I know before I got into the field, I didn't know anything about it. So I do my best job to make sure that your clients understand exactly the way that it works, exactly the way that they're being covered and what everything on the insurance policy means.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. Great question though.
And then I guess another question for you real quick. I was gonna see if you could maybe share a story just because I've heard a bunch about you. I mean, obviously I know you, but I've heard a bunch about you from other agents about how you help save someone X amount of dollars or you help save this. Like what's your, I guess the the thing that you feel like is the best that you've done for someone? It could be like a monetary saving or help them out in a situation. What's your, I guess, do you have
Yeah,
a
for
story like
sure.
that?
So, I'll probably go. So I've got two. One is just gonna be monetary savings because one time I literally saved a person over $3,000 between their home
That's a
and auto.
lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of. That's a vacation. Like that is a
Yeah.
nice all-inclusive vacation to Sandals and St. John's. Like that is a great vacation.
Cool.
But yeah, and so the way that worked, they were moving from out of state. They were moving from Florida. And so not only did they need the insurance, but they didn't know about the North Carolina, if it was different, if it's the same, so basically I hopped on a phone call, walked them through the policies. I wasn't even aware of what they were paying. So I just knew what my best option was. And then he told me how much I was saving him. And he literally almost like broke down in tears with his wife on the phone. Like he was like, that's so much money. Like, just thank you, thank you, thank you. And it was just such a great feeling for me because it's so good to know that I can have such a powerful impact on people's lives. One, help not, nearly as much as you guys with getting into the home, but it's a part of it, right? I'm helping them get into that home. And here, let me stop sharing this now. Helping them get into that home and, make their dreams come true, right? Everybody's dream, at some point or another is to become a homeowner. So to help them out with that and save them over $3,000 in the process was huge. Felt really, really good about that one. So that's kind of a monetary example. Another one was going to be just kind of an example of having access to all the carriers that we do. So there's a lot of different underwriting guidelines that carriers have, right? And so one of those things is types of dogs, right? They'll look at different dogs that are excluded. This one person was like, literally, they had like 2 pit bulls and a German Shepherd. The home had an original roof of over 20 years old, and the home itself was built about 60 or 70 years ago. I can't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head. But because of that, they were just struggling to find anybody that would cover them. Well, we're okay with the roof, but we're not okay with the dogs, or we're okay with the roof and dogs, but not the age of the home, whatever the case may be. It took me a little while, but eventually through, shopping around and looking into carriers and surveying underwriting guidelines and everything else, I was able to find our carrier, American Modern, that one that I showed you up there, that was able to put them in a spot, and it actually had a pretty decent rate as well. So I helped them get into the home, close on that home, and they were just super appreciative because insurance was the one thing holding them back from closing, and I was able to kind of help out with that and make it so it wasn't an issue anymore. So those are kind of 2 different examples, but 2 things that I really enjoyed and things that I get to do every day. I mean, anytime I'm saving somebody money, even if it's $10 a month, I mean, $120, that's like 12 Chipotle bowls right there. So, I mean, any sort of savings is great savings is what I always say. But when you can get it to the point where you're saving some people, thousands of dollars on something as little, as an auto insurance policy, it's huge. And typically I'm increasing coverage with that as well. Yes, I just brought it up, but there was another lady, I won't say the name of the company, but it was hands down the worst insurance policy I've literally ever seen. And she was paying like $600 a month. So crazy money for bare minimum coverages. It didn't have full coverage, the liability only policy, state minimum limits, the whole nine. When she sent it to me, like I was like scared looking at it. And I was like, nope, we got to change this now. And so I ended up tripling her coverages. So it took her from state minimum limits to triple those essentially. Gave her full coverage on the vehicle and cut that monthly payment in half. It was around $300. So still expensive for insurance, I'm not going to lie, but when you're saving $300 a lot, it doesn't feel expensive, right? It feels like that's $300 a month that I now have back in my pocket to spend on my kids or my husband, my wife, whoever else you care about. And that money goes a long way. So the more money we can put back in your clients' pockets, the better they're going to feel about it. And the more excited they're going to be. They're going to buy some new stuff for their house that you're selling them,
You saved them about $3,600 a year. So that's awesome, man.
Exactly. Like it's crazy some of the savings that we've seen on some of this stuff. It's absolutely wild.
Awesome, man. And then I won't hold you too much because I want to be respectful of your time too. But what does that process look like? Like say if I am already like I wanted you to like look into my insurance policies and you find a better rate. Do I need to call up my current insurance and cancel them, or how does that go?
Yeah, great question. So on the initial time, yes. So the only thing that I can't do when I'm working with a client in the home buying process, I'll take care of getting all the documentation over to their lender. So they don't have to worry about middlemaning it, sending it to the lender, whatever the lender requests back. Like I take all that off their plate. So I'll reach out to the lender. I'll get them the documents that they need. If they need anything else, I'll make sure that they know to reach out to me. So that way I can kind of take that off of their plate. There's already so many things that your clients are worried about in the home buying process that insurance doesn't need to be one of them. So I'll take that off their plate. In terms of like, now let's say we get an auto insurance with it, right? The only thing I can't do is cancel that policy because I'm not the agent of record on it. So let's say we have a policy going into effect on June 15th. You would just call into your carrier and say, hey, I got set up with new insurance. Can you please cancel my policy on that date? And that way you'll maintain coverage up until that point. There won't be a lapse in coverage. And then essentially that policy will cancel. The next one will go into place. So that's going to be the first time. From then though, moving forward, like I mentioned, I'll shop my clients' policies around year over year to make sure that they're always in the best spot. At that point in time, because I am the agent of record on the policy, I'll be able to cancel the rest of those policies for you moving forward. And I'll just, again, set it up on that same date. So that one will cancel. Usually it's the renewal date, and then have the new one go into effect that same day. So you're not getting overdrafted or charged twice for insurance.
That's awesome. Sounds good to me.
For sure. Yeah. Really just try to make everything as smooth and easy as possible. Like we did for Carrie. She was one of the first people from EXP who I did their personal stuff and worked out.
I keep hearing great stories, man. So
yeah,
I'm excited for you to help me next month for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too, for sure.
But yeah. Anybody else have any questions before I let Tobin go?
Nope, I'm good. You asked some good questions, so.
Appreciate it. All right.
Awesome.
Well, shoot, Tobin, I appreciate your
Thank
time,
you,
brother.
Tobin.
And
Of course.
yeah, hope to see you, Jocelyn, and hope to see everybody sooner than later.
Awesome. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Good luck, you guys. Go out there and crush it and sell some houses.
You know it, brother.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye
See you
now.
guys.
See you.